Well, happy Monday, everybody. It is a phenomenal day in October here in the great state of South Carolina. Fall is here and I am excited. I am a fall girl for sure. But I'm excited to be here with all of you this morning. And of course, as we do on a regular basis, I am going to turn this morning's call over to none other than the great Coach Fard Bell out of California. Sir, you have the floor. Go right ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Gardner. Great morning, everybody. Wow, wow, wow. So much greatness is happening. We are in the fourth quarter of 2025. This is the final run. This is the final crusade of the year of 2025. Some of you all have heard me before. When I look at a year, I think of the four quarters within a year. And I remember back to school when there are different types of quizzes. And I used to love the quizzes that had 100 questions on them because even if I got like three or four of them wrong or five of them wrong, I could still get a 95%, which is an A. And growing up, my mom, we didn't do less than A's. Like that just wasn't a part of the standards in our and at home. And so I wanted A's. And so I love those questions, the quizzes that had 100 questions on it, because five of them wrong, still got an A. But every once in a while, that daggone quiz that only had four questions would pop up. And the worst thing about those quizzes that only have four questions is that because there were only four questions, there's only four chances. And that means that one question held so much weight that it can drastically impact the entire score. So one question is worth 25% of the grade. So if I got one wrong, that means the most I could score is a 75. If I get two wrong out of four questions, that's 50% of the grade. That's an F where I'm from, right? And so we have to be extra careful and diligent when a quiz only has four questions. And I think of a year like a four-question quiz. We only have four chances to get it right in a quarter, and it can seem like we have way more time than we truly have. But when we realize the level of urgency, it allows us to really get laser focused more than before when we're letting ourselves know, I don't have a lot of time to waste. I have to move not now, but right now. Well, here's the good news. No matter how we performed in the last quarter or the previous quarter, the good news in the year and this year is that what we do in this quarter can set up the next four. What we do in this quarter can set up the next four, no matter what we did or didn't do in the previous quarter. And this is why the book of the month for Team Pinnacle is 12-week year. It's the most powerful system for those that aren't familiar with it or maybe don't realize what it really is. And he says it, the author says it in the book, it's not just another to do or another strategy to add on top of all the other books and all the other things. No, 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 no. The 12-week year is a system for execution. It's a system for implementation. How many have ever known or felt like me and my team, we've got plenty of information, we've got plenty of good training, we've got plenty of know-how. If we could just implement more of what we already know, put a one in the chat. If you're feeling like, man, if we could just implement more of what we already know without learning anything new, if we could just implement more, we could have drastically different results. How many feel like you could double, triple, or 10x your income, your business, your recruiting, your premium, your production, the number of Performance Club qualifiers, the number of rank advancements, if there was a way to just get more people to implement what we already know? I see lots of ones in the chat. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I like to talk about this morning. What if there was a way? What if there were some more strategies that we could utilize a little bit better to help even more people implement? Would that be helpful if I could give you all a framework to help you identify where you and your team members are so you know exactly what they need in order to implement more? If you would like that, put a number 5 in the chat. If you would like a framework to identify exactly where you are and where your team members are to help them implement more. What does each person need, myself included, to really take implementation to a whole nother level? No matter how well your business is growing already, I promise you this framework will help you double, triple, or 10x utilizing this framework. All right, lots of 5s. All right, so let's go. I call this framework the 5 stages of freedom. The 5 stages of freedom. And these stages will help you see. No wonder just giving another training, another training, another training, another training only works for some people but doesn't work for others. This framework will help you understand how some people are really strong at producing, but not very strong at inspiring others to produce. This framework will help you understand for those who are strong at producing and strong at helping others produce, but they kind of are stuck doing most of that leadership work themselves, how to get to the next level where they've got lots of leaders who are getting others to produce and have more freedom in their lives. This framework will help you understand why some people get left behind in this journey when the leader doesn't understand what that person needs in order to move to the next level. And how, if we're not careful, sometimes we can even chase people out that were very close to having a breakthrough. But if we don't know what that person needs to get that breakthrough or where to send them to get the breakthrough, we can actually be holding people back as a leader ourselves. All right, did I get enough people's attention yet? Where you're ready, put ready in the chat if you're ready for the 5 stages of freedom. So the first stage I call stage 0. Stage 0. Stage 0 is called the wandering stage. Wandering. WANDERING. In the wandering stage, this is where a person is kind of wandering through life without clarity, without direction. They may not have a strong sense of self-worth. They may not have a strong sense of direction. They're either wandering with an A, wandering. Um, they're either wandering through life or wandering through business. This also could be a person who they're in business, they're ready to go, but they're just confused. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Like, this is so overwhelming. I got 5 million emails coming in, and every time I turn around, there's this training and that training and this certification and that, and I'm all over the place. That's the description of the wandering stage. In fact, I found myself just yesterday wandering through the desert. Some of y'all might guess what country I was in. I was wandering through the desert, extremely thirsty, like desperately searching for water, wandering through the desert. And I was just lost. I was confused. I was searching for water and I couldn't find it. I was overwhelmed. I felt like I was in this wandering space in the desert called Walmart. Walmart. That's the country I was in, Walmart. And I had no clue where I could find this water, right? And so if you saw my face, I walked in, I'm like looking up at the signs, I'm like, and I'm thirsty. My lips were dry. I probably looked like Pookie from New Jack City. Don't Google that, you'll know. I was just trying to figure out how to get some water. And so, where's the water? I need a case of water. So I'm wandering through, and you can look. If you saw me, you could tell I was lost. You could tell I was at stage zero. I was lost looking at all the aisles. Now, there's three types of people that would find themselves in that situation. Dr. Mack said, not Pookie. Some of y'all are going to Google that and you're going to crack up if you haven't seen, if you don't know that reference. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm working on my storytelling. How am I doing so far? So anyway, I'm looking at the signs, I'm lost, and I noticed I had a moment where I kind of was observing myself, and I realized how slowly I was walking and just kind of back and forth, turning around, and I was wandering. And then I saw a lady. I found a coach. I found a coach, and she had on the Walmart uniform. I found a qualified coach, and something shifted as soon as I reached out to her and I said, ma'am, where can I find the water? And she, without hesitation, said, go to the left, go straight down, you'll see it right there at the end. Everything in me shifted, and I went from wandering and confused to moving with urgency, with confidence, with clarity, with certainty. If you'd have watched me, you would have thought I worked there, because I was moving with so much confidence and urgency. My pace picked up like 20 times, and I went straight to the water, got what I needed, and left. What happened? I shifted from stage zero, the wandering stage, and into stage number one, which I call the growing stage. The growing stage. In the growing stage, this is where where someone shifts out of wandering. Something that's really important to shift someone out of the wandering stage and into the growing stage. Number one is a clear desire, a clear purpose, a clear destination. In the wandering stage, I had questions in my life like, who am I? Where am I going? And why must I go? When I didn't have answers to those questions, I didn't know who I
Right, sir.
was, I didn't know where I was going or why I should go. By the time I was 6 years old, I didn't want to be alive. How do you get into that space where you're questioning whether you want to be alive? That is the wandering stage. And that could take place in a person's personal life, and it can also take place in business. I don't know if this business is for me. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know if this can work for me. I don't know if I'm good enough to make this happen. That's the language, the self talk of someone who's at stage zero in the wandering stage. But then when something shifts and that person gets a sense of direction, a sense of hope, a sense of encouragement, a sense of purpose, a sense of worth, self-worth, and value, all of a sudden they enter the growing stage where now they can start to learn. Now they can start to receive. Before that, you could be telling me all the stuff to do, all the stuff to do. Here's how you do it. I don't understand. I keep telling you it's 2 a day in a weekly meeting. Like I keep telling you, it's a simple three-way call. How come these people aren't doing it? It's because they're not ready for that yet. They need what they need in the wandering stage. And if you don't know what to do with a person in the wandering stage, then I've seen what happens is they just get left behind, or um, they get written off. Like that person must just be a lost cause because nothing I'm doing is working for them. So maybe that person just is. Here's what an uninformed leader says or thinks. They think and say things like, that person's just not motivated enough. That person just doesn't want it bad enough. No, that person needs something a little bit more. And so if you don't know the right resources to give them, or you don't have the time or the patience to handle a person like that, then be wise enough to know where to send them. And if you don't know where to send them, some people need therapy, some people need transformational coaching, send them to me. That's why I created Born CEO Coaching. I have something for every one of these stages. By the way, it's my life's work. I was born for this. That's the good news. You don't have to slow down building your business to do that if that's not your strength, that's not your gift, that's not your calling. But also know that those people are not a lost cause. They just need something more before they're ready for the next level. So the growing stage, the growing stage. So put the number 0 in the chat if that was if you needed that. Put 0 in the chat if you needed that, or that was clarity, or you can see where either you or someone else has been at the wandering stage before, and you're like, no wonder just the trainings alone doesn't work for that group of people. Is this helpful for anybody else? I never heard this talk before. I discovered this in my own journey. So that's stage 0. Okay. So stage 1 is when a person starts to shift. They start to get a sense of direction, a sense of self-worth, a sense of purpose, a sense of hope. And now there's desire. And Napoleon Hill reminds us that desire is the starting point of all achievement. This desire is the starting point of all achievement. And so now the person can start to grow, to really start to shift. They're like, okay, I've got direction. This is where the personal development can start to kick in. This is where the cultivation process can start to kick in. The old beliefs, thoughts, and emotions, 3 words. Beliefs, thoughts, emotions, well, 4. Beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and habits. Old beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and habits start to get replaced with new belief, thoughts, emotions, and habits. So old disempowering thoughts, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and habits were keeping that person from being fruitful. But in the growing stage, cultivation is happening. I picture soil. I picture soil, right? And that soil is actually fertile, where things can actually grow in that soil of a person's mind. But before we can get to the good soil, there are rocks and stones on top of the good soil. So all those seeds of personal development that are being planted on that person's mind are landing on the rocks and the stones, and a very few of those seeds are getting to the good soil. So we can tell that person, read another book, read another book, read another book, go to another training, go to another training. You can tell yourself, I'm going to reading another book, I'm going to another training. How come it's not working? What's going on? If you're not careful, you'll think something must be wrong with me. And nothing's wrong with you. Something must be wrong with your team member. Nothing's wrong with your team member. But before the seeds can take root and hit the good ground where it can bear fruit, somebody's got to come along and help rake the rocks and the stones off of the good soil. There's good soil in there, in everybody. But the growing stage is a cultivation stage where you're raking away the stones and the rocks and the hardened ground from life beating us up, from all the lies we've been told, the disempowering beliefs, the disempowering thoughts and philosophies, the disempowering emotions that we took on to protect ourselves, and then the disempowering habits that come about because of that. There's a process. This is why you can't compare yourself or somebody else to somebody else's journey. You're like, how come this person is running? Well, they've gone through a cultivation process. So they can hear the same information and get the same training, and they can run with it and bear fruit with it faster because the cultivation has already begun. They were already in the growing stage. And they stayed in that growing stage long enough for the good ground to be exposed and those seeds to finally begin to bear fruit. This is stage 1, the growing stage. So don't be frustrated. Don't compare yourself to somebody who's already bearing fruit. Just understand and appreciate what stage you're in, and trust that if you stay in that stage long enough, And it's not just reading books to be reading books and listening to training to be listening to training. You got to put yourself in an environment where you can be cultivated. Who can help you get the stones up? Who can help you break up that stony ground, and get to the surf, get to the good soil? If you don't know anybody, that would be me. That's my gift. That's my calling. Took me a long time to figure that out. So that's why some people are like, I don't know, when it clicks better for some reason when certain people teach it. When you get around somebody who's gifted to do that, it helps you break away and break up and chop up. A great pastor, a great leader, a transformational coach can help break up that stony ground so that all of a sudden you can get to that good soil and the seeds can start to bear fruit. Jim Rohn talked about it. The parable of the sower. Some falls on the good ground and bears 30, 60, 100. There's a passage in the Bible, the parable of the sower. It's powerful. So stage one is about getting to the good ground, the good ground. And then all of a sudden, now it leads to stage two. This is where we expect everybody to sign up and automatically be at stage two. Stage two is what I call the producing stage. Oh yeah, finally somebody's signing people up. Finally a new recruit. Finally the right activity. Because in the growing stage, stage one, all of a sudden the old beliefs start to get replaced, the old thoughts and philosophies, the old emotions, and then the habits start kicking in. The activity starts happening. When that activity starts happening, now we're leading into stage two, the producing stage, where the person can start to produce. All of a sudden, they're getting results. Results happening at the producing stage. We're already 2 stages in. We're 3 stages in before producing shows up. So here's what's frustrating. For 10%, the 10% that show up are already in the producing stage. If you showed up and you were already in the producing stage, if you don't understand this framework, you think everybody starts at the producing stage. See, I went from not wanting to be alive before I ever got here. I went through the self-worth issues at stage 0. I started doing the personal development before I got here. And Napoleon Hill was helping to chip away. My spiritual transformation was chipping away in the growing stage of the lies that I'd taken on about myself. The self-image issues I had to replace. The old beliefs, the old thoughts and philosophies that I picked up from my environment were being eaten away before I started. So when I came in, I was ready for the producing stage from day one. So I was able to start implementing the activities, but because I had gone through stage 0 and stage 1, I didn't expect everybody to show up at stage 1, at stage 2, the producing stage. But if you didn't know that, and if you're not careful, you think everybody who joins should be in productivity like you were. Is this helping anybody? Put a 2 in the chat if this is making sense. If this is helping. I'm slowing down so we can speed up, because when we understand which stage each person is in, we can give them the right resources that they need at the stage that they're on. And then you can also choose your time wisely. You don't have to spend all your time trying to get somebody to produce at stage 0 when they're not at that stage. You can plug them into the environment or the resources to help them incubate while you run with the ones who are ready to run, and you sort through to find those who are ready to produce. But you don't have to dismiss those at stage 0 or stage 1. Plug them into the resources that they need while you run with those who are ready to run. I'm telling you, this is about to speed somebody up. So stage 1 is where producing starts happening. Somebody's in the mad streak. I haven't heard that term in a long time. They're doing at least one a month. Okay, that's production. Yes, producing. Then all of a sudden they're in the performance club. Woo, they're producing, right? All of a sudden they're recruiting and producing. They're doing their 2 to 5 a day, no matter what. Liz LaQ, they're doing the 3-way calls and they're showing up to the events and they're like, yes, they're at stage 2, the producing stage. The producing stage, money is being made. This is where the excitement starts to kick in. But there's a lid there. Have you ever had somebody in the producing stage where you're producing, but nobody else seems to be? You're like, all right, I'm producing. That was me. I was in the producing stage from day one when I got started. The performance club wasn't out yet, but as soon as it was out, I was in the performance club. I was doing my 2 to 5 a day, my 3 ways. I was showing up. I was enrolling new customers. I was enrolling new associates. I was at stage 2, the producing stage. And then they told me, if you lead by example, and people will follow. They said, if my team did what I did today, how much money would I be making? I'm like, ooh, I'll be rich. And I turn around and I wasn't rich. I was the only one. So I got stuck at stage 2. Anybody ever felt stuck at stage 2? The producing stage? How do I get all these people are coming in, but nobody's doing anything? And that's where stage 3 comes in. Stage 3 is what I call the coaching stage. The coaching stage. The coaching stage is where you no longer expect people to just show up at the producing stage, and you realize there's a process to help people get to stage 2, producing. There's a process. You said, where do you find the stages? I wrote it. I'm the one that wrote the 4 stages. I did create a document. Do I have it out? I'll probably put it out as an ebook or something like that. But and I'll recap the stages. Somebody will probably put it in the chat as well, Mr. Williams. So listen, the coaching stage is where you graduate from just expecting people to show up and produce to realizing, okay, if I want to have more people producing in my organization, I have 2 choices. 2 choices. Either I keep sorting through a whole lot of people faster to find those who are already at the producing stage. That's what most people do, by the way. Thank you, Rosa Bailey. Stage 0 is the wandering stage, yes. So option 1 is to recruit so many people through your personal recruiting and organizational recruiting that you find those who are already producers. That's what most people do in this industry, by the way. And that's one of the ways to do it. You sort through a whole bunch of people faster and don't really know what to do with the rest of them. Like they just figure it out on their own, or they don't. Which has always bothered me because of what I'm called to do. But the second option is to become a better coach and understand how to develop people. Learn how to develop people better. You can do both. There's 3 options. Option 1, if you want more producers, is to recruit through faster, sort through faster to find more producers. Option 2, become a better coach so you know what to do with those who are at the wandering stage or the growing stage to help them transform and become a producer. Or option 3 is to do both. I recommend option 3. If you want to be like a way better leader. Option 3. And option 3 allows you to sort fast and know how to help people develop faster. For example, making sure there's a simple ABC 1, 2, 3 process for them to go through, making the process simpler for people to understand and implement to get clarity, right? And then help coach them through the internal process of transformation that doesn't come from just a good training. In fact, Jim Rohn said it well. He said, teaching is how life works. Training is how the business works. Training is showing people how the business works. Teaching is showing people how life works. But I want to add one. Coaching is helping people implement. Coaching is helping people transform so they can implement. So coaching is what people need when they know what to do, but they're not doing it yet. They need transformational coaching. I'm not just talking about training or teaching, transformational coaching. What do I need to do to transform? That's what I do with BornCEO coaching. I'm a transformational coach. I help people transform from the wandering stage to the growing stage so they can get into the producing stage faster. So if you want to run and you don't have time for that, I got resources for that. And maybe you have other resources for that. But have resources for those who are at the various stages. So now the producing stage. Now, so you've got more people at the producing stage by either sorting through faster to find those who are already producers and having a curriculum in place to help people transform from stage 0 and stage 1 into stage 2 where they're producing. Now you move from performance club, recruiting, producing to senior director. Now you got 5 other people in the performance club because you have a curriculum to develop them through that process. Now you got a well-oiled machine. More people are producing. More people are producing. Here's the sad part of the story and the good news, depending on which role you play. The sad news is, without a process, 80% of the people that come in are at the wandering stage or the stage 1, 0 or stage 1. And if you don't have a process for them, you're losing 80% of your productivity in your organization. And so most of the people I see that are successful in network marketing and in Legal Shield are succeeding with only 20% of their people. The other 80% are just falling through the cracks. And so imagine if they had a process for the other 80%, how much more success everybody would be having. That's my role. And that's not just Legal Shield, that's most things. When I was going to real estate investment seminars, I would go to the seminar, get inspired. They lay out the system, and 10% would go implement and win with it. The other 90% just fall through the cracks. Got the inspiration, got the information, struggle with implementation. That's why the book 12-Week Year is so important for everybody. It's a part of the implementation process. Okay, let me wrap up. Stage 4, the final stage, is important. And it's the freedom stage. The freedom stage. This stage is important because when you get to stage 3 and you're the coaching stage, you're developing other producers. You're developing other producers, you're recruiting and developing other producers when you're at stage 3. At stage 3, you're not just relying on somebody else. You've learned what John C. Maxwell calls people development. People development. It takes a certain level of patience. It takes a certain level of intentionality, to being strategic, and even leveraging resources so you can speed up. You don't have to slow down. But that's the coaching stage. But here's the problem with the coaching stage is, as in the beginning, you're the only coach. You're the only coach. So the only people that are getting developed in your organization are the people getting developed by you. So you don't have freedom, you have productivity, you've got a lot of growth, profitability, but not freedom because you're the only person that's developing people. You're the only person who's equipped to develop other people. So stage 4 is the freedom stage. Stage 4 is the freedom stage because we started with stage 0. That's why it's stage 4. So stage 4 is the freedom stage. Now at the freedom stage, you have learned how to develop and attract other coaches. You've learned how to develop and attract other coaches. Now, here's what most people do. They just sort through enough people to find people who are already effective coaches. That's a fast way to grow, right? Very fast, very smart. Find people. My upline platinum, Steve Fleming, that was his gift. He was the vice president of Jim Rohn International. He's the one that had the list that he would contact to promote Jim Rohn seminars. And he told me, he said, I had a list of all the top producers in network marketing. He told me one, he's like, I'm not all that great at this. He said, I got ADD, I'm all over the place, but I found people who are already good coaches, already good leaders. And boom, he went platinum, $250,000 a year, passive income, 2 6-month vacations. Every year, every time I turned around, he was enjoying life in freedom because he was smart enough to find people who are already leaders of others, already coaches, and boom, skyrocket. So that's option one, is to find people who are already leaders and boom, let them do what they do, get out of the way. The second way is to learn how to develop coaches. Now you can duplicate. Learning how to develop coaches takes a little bit more work, a little bit more patience, a little more time, but it pays dividends. John C. Maxwell said, well, what if I invest in all these people and pour in all these people and then they leave the organization? I poured all that into people and then they leave. He says, what if you don't and they stay? What if you don't invest in the people and they stay? What if you don't equip them and they stay? So the freedom stage is when you attract and develop other coaches. Now you've got others that are developing leaders and developing people with or without you. Now you've got freedom because you've got multiplication happening in your organization. Ms. Gardner, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we can open it up.
Phenomenal.
Oh, by the way, so quick recap, the 5 stages of freedom. Stage 0 is the wandering stage. Stage 1 is the growing stage. Stage 2 is the producing stage. Stage 3 is the coaching stage. And stage 4 is the freedom stage. Over to you, Ms. Gardner.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Bell. Guys, I mean, what an incredible training today. I think the insight into, this is a Monday Leaders Call. And so just being able to recognize where your people are, so that you know what to do with them. Yeah, you might be going, okay, well, I'm in this stage, that stage, this stage. But it's like, no, it's about where are my people and what do I need to do? Because it's like you might not be at the coaching stage or the freedom stage yet. You might still be at the producing stage. Well, what if you get somebody in that's in the coaching stage, right? What if you get somebody in the wandering stage? As a leader, whether you see yourself at that or not, you now know what to do with your people that are coming in to know, okay, this is where they are. It's not about you. It's about this is where they are. This is what they need. And how do I get that for them? Maybe you're the resource for them. Maybe you're not. It's why our system of Legal Shield exists, right? What do we talk about? Plugging people in, because sometimes they are in the wandering stage, and it's the system that grows them to get to that next stage. And so it's absolutely phenomenal training. We got a couple of people with their hands up. So if you have a question or a comment that you would like to share with Coach Bell this morning, go right ahead. So Kyrie, you are first.
Fantastic Monday, everybody. Thank you. Sir, well, let me ask one question. The first question. This is recorded, correct? Please say yes.
Yes.
All right. Man, listen, you just broke down my whole career. Down the other day, I'm back after 11 years removed. August 1st, I'm running for ED this month. But you literally broke down. I mean, I not only was seeing where the other people were, as Ms. Gardner just stated, I also was seeing exactly where I was in relation to each of those these individuals as to where they are. And you know, I'm one of those who what do you call it? Replace, because I also come in with the mindset, if they any little hiccup, I automatically go, okay, I got to replace this person, I got to replace this person, I got to replace this person. But I do it is more beneficial because I do have a level of patience where I connect with people rather well. So again, I'm watching them get elevate into the other stages that you just mentioned. So there's a shift in me that has to take place with regards to, you know, it's like you said, it hurts to see people fall through the cracks, especially knowing seeing and experience all of what we have here. And you know, but we all know we can't want it from somebody more than they want it from themselves. I don't know if that's the case, but again, you just laid it all out, man. I I got I gotta put this on automatic. I gotta get the recording and just keep it on replay, sir.
Let's go.
I
Let's
appreciate you.
go.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
You as well,
I'm gonna
brother.
let somebody else talk, but thank you.
And
Thank you
I don't
very
know if
much.
Natasha Decine, I wanted her to, is Natasha Decine on the line?
I don't
I
know.
believe
If
she.
you, if, if you are, if you can raise your
Oh,
hand,
I
Coach
see
Natasha.
her.
Coach Bell.
Okay, you were saying something earlier, and I told you I would bring it up on here. What were you saying about your process as a leader? By the way, Natasha Decine is top recruiter, consistently in the top recruiters list in all of Team Pinnacle, and just got the trophy again, first place in recruiting in all of Brian Carruthers' Team Pinnacle organization. What were you saying about your transformation as a leader?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Coach Bell, for allowing me to share. Um, I joined the business and I went executive director within my first month. I am very committed. I don't need my mentor to remind me to log into the meeting and stuff because I had a why. I was expecting all my team leaders to follow their why, to be consistent to the schedule and stuff. So recently, Coach Bell, Team Platinum, launched the 90-day challenge with this notebook that personally I didn't need because I have my own system. I have my fancy notebooks, everything, and I have my journal. I publish my own journal on Amazon. I didn't need that. But after Anaheim, I stepped back. I said, okay, I am struggling with activity within my team. Last May, my mom passed at the same moment as Alex's mom's. But the difference between the two teams, I was the one who produced most of the activities, and which was different for Alex. So many of my team, my people, my team member left. The opposite was happening for Alex. He shared his experience. So I realized that I supposed to meet my team members where they are. Everyone, because not everyone can have my speed, not everyone can be consistent as I am, not everyone can be self-motivated. So I decided to follow the challenge because it can be duplicable by my team. And this morning, I am so happy. I have my team members on the Miracle Morning call. I have team members here in that call. Just because I don't tell them, do this, do that, but I said, let's do it together. I step back. I leave my fancy systems. I understand that not everyone is Natasha Dassine. Not everyone can be self-motivated, but some people need more support. So I am becoming a more empathetic leader, and I am excited for my team. Thank you, Coach Bell.
So
Thank you, everyone.
congratulations. That's major. That's a shift from the producing stage, a high producing stage, into the coaching stage, having more empathy on where people are and then making that shift. So powerful. All right, who is next? And I'm gonna share my screen while they're going with the follow-up system she's talking about. you all can take a screenshot of it in just a moment. I think it's Miss Royalty.
It is. Go right ahead.
Hey, Coach Bell and Miss Gardner, thank you so much. This was absolutely phenomenal. I'm over here tearing up because not only has this month been a mind shift for me, but this right here is going to help me not only reach executive director, but it'll allow me to help my leader and executive director, Ms. Humphreys, so she'll have some freedom to do what she needs to do. This is so powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Ah, that's so powerful. She's like, not only I can see how this can help me, but now she's like, oh, my team leader, I want my team leader to be at the freedom level where they're not stuck doing it all on my own. It's powerful. Who's next?
I think it's Marv.
And everybody take a picture or a screenshot of this follow-up. This is the easiest, most simple follow-up process I've ever seen. And just spelled it out so that the team can do it. I think it was inspired by Liz LeCue and Kai Deering. But this is the most simple follow-up system I've ever seen to duplicate. So I'm having everybody do this their first 90 days, and then they can do whatever they want if they want to graduate towards another follow-up system, but it'll still duplicate so everybody can get in the rhythm and make it a game, make it fun with their 2 to 5 a day following up.
All right, Marv, you're next. Go right ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for the platform, Coach Bell. Excited to hear this interesting information on how to do team building, because that's a skill set I need to learn, and as well as how to duplicate once I master it. So my question to you is, where can we find the resource that defines how to recognize these characteristics and which stage people are in when they onboard? Thank you for allowing me to share.
Oh, you're welcome. Great question. I don't know of one. I discovered these stages in my own journey. So if somebody has some, put it in the chat. But I have all kinds of resources at BornCEO.com. And in fact, I'm going to put together an assessment that helps people self-identify. But BornCEO.com, I've got a lot of different resources there. And I have a monthly boot camp that I do that really helps people get unstuck. So
Okay.
feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
And Ms. Verdun, there's a typo in there. No E in between the CEO. But thank you for, yes, BornCEO.com. Who's next?
I believe it's Miss Glover, Deidre Glover. Go right ahead.
Hi, Coach. Oh my God, I'm over here. I don't want to cry, but oh my God. You are oh my God, oh my God. You talked about this stage 0 that I was at for so long. Oh my God, oh my God. I just finally crossed over, what, in a week maybe, from the wondering stage where I had no clarity. I didn't have a strong sense of worth. I was confused, overwhelmed with all the training. You know, I take all these perfect notes. And Coach, then you just, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I'm sorry. Let me stop this. Coach, this is so awesome, so great. Oh my God, you spoke to my soul with this stage right here, this wondering stage. I don't know how you do it. You have the uncanny ability to do this. God has really gifted you. And I'm so thankful that you're in your gift and you're allowing God to use you. Oh my God, no clarity. Oh my God, you just helped. You just laid it all out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my God, thank you, Coach. I'm sorry for doing this. I'm sorry for getting on here like this, but thank you, Coach.
One of my Deidre Glover. You are one of my favorite transformation stories. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much.
Your transformation is inspiring so many people. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, your signal might be going out, but if you watch the
I'm
replay,
muted. Oh my God. I'm glad I
no,
was muted.
no, we heard everything you said.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
We
I
heard
don't think she
everything.
can still
I
hear us.
cannot hear you. Let me get on my phone. I don't know what happened to my computer.
We can go ahead and mute Miss Glover out
You
because
hear me?
she'll see the.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me? Oh,
we can go ahead and mute her out. But here's what I want to say: when she watches the replay, and for those who don't know, Deidre Glover has been inspiring so many people. Don't be having me all tearing up with the wind blowing over here. But she has been just an amazing transformation story. Working with Pam Carnes, just pouring into her, and Pam Carnes will tell you, like she just shows up. She won't quit. She's just been determined. And when somebody comes in the wandering stage, if they stay in the environment long enough with the right mentorship and the right people believing in her, like a Pam Carnes, like the environment, showing up to the events, the environment starts to eat away at all the old beliefs, all the old thoughts, all the old emotions, and it's just a matter of time before somebody has their breakthrough. And so that's encouragement for anybody who feels the same way, or somebody who on your team that may be in that same place. Just trust and believe. Keep them in the environment long enough. Keep believing in them. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time because time isn't necessarily going to speed them up. I used to think I could lock arms with that one person and stay with them forever and sit on them like an edge until they're ready to hatch. That doesn't speed a person up. But every time they hear from you, to know that you believe in them, to know that you see something in them that they may not see in themselves, and keeping them in the environment, keeping them encouraged long enough, and get them around the right resources that they might need. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time. You may be sitting next to your next diamond executive director that just happened to be at the wandering stage. And so I see big things for you, DJ Glover. Who's next?
Awesome. Michael Bailey is next.
Yes, yes. Good morning, family. Yes, so coach, you know I love the 4 stages of freedom, right? But
Yeah.
yes, I love it. And what I love about it is for several reasons. What I love, first of all of us are in one of these stages. At any time, all of us are at one of these stages. So once we see what stage we're in, we can gauge what we need to do to get to the next stage. And sometimes we can fall back to a stage that we have graduated from, so we can always know where we are and what we need to do. But here's the powerful piece that Coach and Ms. Gardner was saying. We can teach our team this. We can know where everyone on our team is in these stages, and then help them to get to the next stage. So I just wanted to share, Coach, I've always been crazy about the 4 stages of freedom, because it allows us to, as leaders, as we say, pull weeds out of, if they're in the wondering stage, we know what weeds to pull out of them so they can start producing. And we know that if they're not right inside, if something is bothering them inside, that we can free them of. If we do that, we know they can produce. It's easy to do the work once they're free inside. So pulling people out of that wondering stage is very powerful. And like you said, it gives them hope. So I just wanted to share that, Coach.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Um, I gave this resource to Michael Bailey years ago. I do have a PDF. So what I'll do is, if anybody's on my email list, I'll send out an email that has the link to the PDF for the document. If you're not on the email list yet, go to BornCEO.com/resources. BornCEO.com/resources, and that'll put you on the email list. And I'll shoot out the
Yes.
PDF to everybody today. All right, who's next?
CEO Medici's here. Go right ahead, sir.
Good morning, coach. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are younger than me, but I call you the father of networking. Doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 50. I'm gonna turn 57 this month, this November. Family. The reason I'm telling you, if I was in the B2B side, maybe I feel different. Maybe I grow a little bit slower, but I think bigger. because of this one. You know, you want to mentally grow faster, be on the networking side, because we don't care whose our upline is, because we read more. You know, we grow, you know, we produce, we do everything, you name it. You know, I'm here for 21 years. My upline executive director, I love them from my heart. They're on the B2B side. After 21 years, after seeing me, I'm in the performance club, they're calling me, they're telling me, Mehdi, you are part of my legacy. I was mad at them. Why didn't tell me 20 years ago? I want to be part of your legacy. Share with your team, share with your people. You are part of my legacy. I swear to God, that's about the growing. Tell your team, you are part of my legacy. Your team. That's the best, honest connection with your team. Tell your team you are part of my legacy. I feel more responsible about my upline executive director more than to my family, because he mentioned it, I'm part of his legacy. Performance Club was part of my title. As of she said, no, Performance Club for life, because I am part of my family legacy, my upline legacy, and higher and higher. I love you all, man, because I learned in network marketing side, and you are the father of network marketing. I love you, man. I'm gonna title this for you. Love you. Take care.
Thank you.
Love you too, brother. So powerful.
All right, Coach Bell, we got a hard stop here. Why don't you close us out?
Yes, family. My big the takeaway for I want to leave everybody with, and I'm putting this link in there. Everybody's asking. It's BornCEO.com/resources for those asking. Here's what the takeaway. Use this. We slow down so we can speed up. The purpose of this framework is not to slow down, it's to speed up, so that you know, okay, who can I run with? We got 12 weeks. We're in a 12-week year. We're in a 90-day run. So how can I use this framework to go faster? How can I go faster? Where am I at? How can I speed myself up? Who are the people that are able to run fast right now? Plug everybody else into the environment, the resources, have them stick around, have them plug in here. To Monday Leaders. This is one of those resources somebody asked about, but run with those who are ready to run, find people that are ready to run faster, love on those that need the love and the belief, and run with those that are ready to run. Everybody wins, and we'll see everybody with a more powerful 12-week year success story. Have a great day, everyone. Back to you,
Awesome.
Ms.
Thank
Gardner.
you so much,
Thank
guys.
you, Coach Bell. Thank
Happy
you,
Monday.
Ms.
Ring
Gardner.
earner call. The political ring earner call starts now. You're a ring earner. Get on that call.
Let's
Thank
go,
Thank
let's go.
everybody.
Ms.
Thank you, Coach
Gardner,
Bell.
Ms. Bell,
Thanks, Coach Bell.
Ms.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner.
Gardner.